Bueno, hola a todos. Pues gracias por asistir. Las preguntas van a estar en inglés. Yo hago una pequeña presentación de mí mismo y de la revista que ya tenéis a mano.
For those of you who don't know me, I'm Yanis Cardances. I'm the manager of the Traders publication. You have a copy of the special edition that we published 3 months ago, and this is the web page. You can subscribe. It's free of charge for all of you who are here. And we have articles and interviews with these people from July and September, and we also interview very interesting people. It is a source of pride for me to be in the same round table as these people, and we are going to hold an interview with the 3 of them, and they will have very interesting things to tell you. So,
thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming. I've got a small presentation to do. I understand we've got simultaneous interpreting, so we'll be talking a little bit less faster than normal. And stop me if I'm going too fast for the translators. So I'm just starting to my left. This is Tarik Elmarie. So Tarik has started his career as trader at Refco in London in 2003. He traded futures contracts on Eurex for a couple of years before moving to Amsterdam as a market maker on Eurex market. And in 2010, he was recruited to launch IceCap Paris, a hedge fund from Millennium Management in New York. And then in 2003, he capitalized on his experience and launched Crescendo Trading in Paris, which is the first trading floor for professional traders. Next, I don't think we need to introduce that much. You've seen him already perform. Is Rob Hoffman, the Rob Hoffman, I would say. We go back many years as well with Rob. He is quite known in his circles, has won, is it 25 trading competitions, Rob, globally, and he lives in the US, and through his company offers education as well. Last but not least, we'll have Naeem Aslam. Naeem, a salient analyst among London's commentators and financial markets, and you tend to get frequently, the markets correctly. Going on Bloomberg, CNBC, and also Traders Magazine, of course. And he is a columnist at Forbes, and notably he has won the National Award in 2010 for a Young Irish Broker. So he's joining us today and sharing his wealth of trading experience. And I think it's over 12 years now that you've been involved in the markets, both technically and fundamental. So without further ado, gentlemen, I think we should take this opportunity to use your experience and just share with the majority of retail traders here what is it that you do best and why you are actually excelling in what you're doing. So you have been involved in trading for so many years, all of you, but what is the most common mistake, in your opinion, that retail traders make? Starting with you, Tarik.
So thank you to invite me to this trading conference. And for me, the main mistakes retail trader made is to not having a trading plan. Most of the time, we said in a trading floor, there are only 2 rules you should have when you want to trade, is to have a trading plan and to follow your trading plan. And if you don't have any strategy and if you don't have any money management, managing your risk, you can make money in a short term, but in a long term, you cannot make money. When I saw the experience of Rob Hoffman and me, you cannot stay in a trading activity for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years if you don't manage your risk. And this is the main thing that a retail trader should work. Not especially try to find the best strategy, but more trying to manage the risk.
You sympathize with this, Rob, because normally people try to find the picks and troughs, so sell high and buy low, but maybe the essence is actually in how you manage your expectations.
Well, the irony is I was just interviewed right before lunch by the largest financial magazine here in Spain, and I was asked this exact question, and my exact answer was exactly what Tarik just said. The trading plan is so important. Let's be honest, how many in here actually have a written trading plan, fully detailed, with setups, entries, stops, strategies, the whole thing? How many of you actually have that written out on paper?
Muy pocos.
Not nearly as many as there should be, is there? Okay, so when you come to us and say, help me, I'm not trading well, it's very hard to even see from a roadmap, a plan to say, hey, maybe you might want to change this, or this might be an issue that you can improve on. You're guessing. I bought this today because the temperature in Madrid is 40 degrees Celsius. Tomorrow the sky is a little gray, so I sold. There's no reason why you're really trading. You think the market's going a certain way, and so because of a guess, you're taking a trade. There's no written, structured plan. And so this morning, as you know, many of you are here this morning. In fact, how many were here this morning for my presentation? Okay. Yeah, so a lot of you. Yeah, okay, thank you. And thank you again, Madrid. That's very kind of you to have us here. And so I tried to give you an actual strategy with a setup, entry, stop, and profit management, right? An actual strategy. You can go home, write it down, start to practice it, start to test it. That's why I did that. You know, and again, this question was just asked a little bit ago, and so it's such a wonderful question, and I hope that you'll take to heart what Tarik and I am saying, because this is so important. Without a trading plan, how can you become consistent? If you have no rule, no structure, how will you become consistent? So that's
Thank you, Rube.
trading plan.
Naeem, would you actually abide by these?
I think I would like to share some wisdom from my experience working with hedge funds. And it's not different than what these guys have said, but when you are working for a hedge fund on big banks, one thing that they make sure is that you are accountable for every single mistake that you make. Because if you are trading as a sole trader, you gotta be honest to yourself. You gotta hold yourself as accountable for all the mistakes that you are doing. So yes, it is enormously important to have that trading plan, but at the same time, go and revise your mistakes. See what you have done incorrectly in the past. Because as a hedge fund trader, if I did something wrong, I was going to answer my manager. I was going to answer my board. We took this trade. What was your reason? You just didn't just have that cold water and then thought, okay, I'm going to throw this trade and I'm going to come out of this trade. That's not the specific reason. I have to provide full detailed answer. If I was short on the market, this was my fundamental to go short. These are the reasons that I wanted to get out of this trade. And for that particular reason, I went and I pressed that sell button. So I think accountability, risk management, having a trade plan are the three key ingredients for your success. And one thing that I have said over and over across many different channels with CNBC and Bloomberg is do not think that institutions have edge over you guys. They're just like you. There's no difference. The only difference comes within the three ingredients that I have mentioned. And stop following the herd. Don't do what everyone else is doing. I'm going to share an example of the four major events. During Brexit, I was on the other side of the trade. Why? Because it was an insurance which was too cheap for me to ignore. It's like you guys are driving a car. You know if you're a safe driver, your insurance premium is low, right? So when I'm looking at the options market, when I'm looking at the futures for the Forex, it was too cheap for me not to trade Brexit on the other side. When it came to UK election, it was too cheap for us not to look at the other side because everyone was looking on the same side. We said, no, we're going to go on the other side, and I'm happy. Guess what? I'm happy to take the loss if I'm wrong. You wanted to know why? Because that's the cost of doing your business. You employ, you rent a car, you rent an office, you employ your employees. These are the costs of the business. In this part, when you are the sole owner of your business, my key advice is be comfortable in taking the losses which fall. What these two guys have shared, their wisdom, to be okay with it, to accept those losses, and try not to follow what everyone else is doing, but think about the other side of the trade. Happened with Brexit, happened with the UK election, happened with Trump, and didn't happen with France. I was wrong at that. I did take a loss, and I was happy with it. That's fine. Why? Because, okay, Macron won. It's still good for the economy in the longer term. In the short term, I've taken that loss, and I said that's okay. In the UK elections last night, we were saying, okay, guess what? Hung Parliament or Theresa May's victory is not what I'm going to be trade. I'm going to take options on sterling on the other side. I think that's what I wanted to share.
Let me interrupt you on this one, because it's all very good theoretically if you say to someone, yeah, be contrarian or take a position and, be able to take your losses. But what is the actual exact strategy? I'll start with Tarik. And I want to know, you guys, you employ different strategies. Yeah, you have 3 different systems. I want to know, and, we tell the about 350 people sitting here, how is it that, besides reading books or hearing you saying the correct thing, how are we putting that in practice? What is your strategy, Tarik?
I'm a contrarian trader. Why? Because when I start my experience of trader and when I trade for hedge fund, after I moved to a market maker. So I was market maker for a company in Amsterdam. So I have the ability to be in front of the market. So, and I continue to use this strategy by making, it's called scalping trading. So I try to make between 1 tick, 2 ticks, 5 ticks every day in Euro stocks and S&P, in all the large market. But there are no bad strategy. You can be contrarian, you can follow the trend, but you must have money management in front of your strategy. So for me, I cannot lose 30 ticks or 40 ticks when I take a trade. If I lose 10 ticks, I will start to say,
something's wrong.
Something's wrong, and I will left the trade. So it means that I made a lot of trade, a lot of winning trades, or 80% of my trade is a winning trade, and my main issue is to manage the 10% of 20% of the trade who lose. So this is different than someone who will try to keep a trend. He will try to buy or to sell the market, and he will cut most of the time. And at one time, he will take a big trend, and he will make a lot of money. For me, it's the opposite. So when you want to scalp and when you want to trade like a market maker, you make a lot of winning trade, and you just be focused on the losing trade, which is between 10 and 20%.
I see. But surely this is scalping. If you say that you operate in 1 minute or go for 2 or 3 ticks or less than that, it will require for people to be on the screen constantly. I guess the majority of attendants here have, morning works or do other stuff. So I was going to ask Rob if you sympathize with it, because I know you're more of a trend following. So, a different trading style that maybe suits other people's necessities, or is not that the case?
Well, actually, much like Tarik, I do on an intraday basis. I focus much shorter term. I'm looking at 1 minute, 2 minute, 5 minute charts. I look at the trading competition. For most of the competition yesterday, Tarik and I were both at about 400, 500 euros positive that hour. We were both just kind of boom, 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 boom. We were just in, out, in, out, in, out. And that worked, during that first hour very well. And but there are many people here that have full-time jobs and can't trade full-time. In fact, I'd like to ask, how many of you actually do have a full-time job and so you can't really trade full-time? Yeah, a lot of people. Okay. So.
But what is your strategy, Rob? I mean, like you
Yeah,
open
so-
your screen every day, or what is it?
Yeah, so of course, I do both. I focus on both sides. Primarily, my pleasure is in day trading. I love actively managing positions. Plus, unfortunately, in the current world we live in with the terrorism and many other things of late with elections, political crises, the holding overnight can sometimes make you sleep less. And so it's kind of nice to be in and out before you go. So
no overnight positions, you're saying?
So no. So what I'm saying is that you have to manage those much differently than, say, a few years ago. Right now, any positions that are held overnight, usually, in my opinion, should have some sort of hedge with them, so that if something goes terribly wrong, that you're not going to lose all your money. Money management is extremely critical in overnight trading these days, and of course, it's important intraday too. And he's right. The comment about risk for a fund. So you have a trading plan, but your manager is going to judge your risk management, and if you don't do well, you're out. But for an overnight trader, right now, there's a couple of things you do with Forex. The beauty of Forex is you can manage your size, your position, do micro positions or full positions. So you can manage that. You can hedge with another currency. You can go long one currency, short another currency. Which is a little bit better than, say, like a stock, where if you trade a stock with a naked open position, a bad earnings report comes out, and the next day the stock goes down $20, $30 or euros, and you can't do anything unless you had an options position to hedge it. So it is much more risky right now in this market, where a bad earnings report, it closes here, the next morning a bad earnings report, and it opens down here. What do? You sit there and hold the position for months with dead money. I know Tarik and me, we don't like holding positions with dead money for very long. We're going to want to get out and move on to the next position. But some people will sit and hold and hope it comes back and hope, and meanwhile that money is tied up. So risk management, for all of you that have full-time positions, you could perhaps participate in like the Forex market, that you can minimize your sizing position. You can buy one currency, sell another currency. If you're going to trade a stock, you could hedge it with an options play. So, but that's the kind of mindset in the current market with terrorism, with poor earnings reports, and the political environment we have every day in the United States. It's another political issue. So you have to think much differently. Whereas in the intraday, it's like, 5 minutes, okay, I'm good, no problem.
Naim, is it the same? Is it like intraday because of the excessive risk, or is it like, swing traders tend to catch a trend, and obviously this is where the most of the money is, as they say?
Yes. I think I have to drill back to one of my experiences that we had. Define yourself. Have a clear plan. Are you an active trader or are you a passive trader? Are you here to make that extra money on a daily basis that you want to do? And as Rob said, Forex market is one of the most volatile market in the world. The volatility picks up on every single day when the economic data hits. Make sure that you know when the economic data is going to come. Here's your strategy. If you can digest that sort of a risk, then put a trade before the economic data. You heard me right. I'm saying put a trade before the economic data. Go on the opposite side of the sentiment. If everyone is saying that the economic data is going to come good, go on the opposite side of the trade, thinking that the economic data is going to come bad. Have a tight stop loss, get out of it, accept your loss, praise that, pat on your back that you are accepting your loss, because that's going to have a psychological impact on you, and move on. If not, you cannot digest that, wait for the data to come. Now, the trend has established for the day. Trade that particular trend on that specific day. So within an intraday, within a day, you can classify yourself if you have how much stomach you have for the risk. And if you can digest it, plan it accordingly.
Having said that, Naeem, it's very good that you're saying that. Can anyone of all these people today, including ourselves, be a successful trader? And it's a question for all of you, because this is the key. I mean, you do that for a living, obviously you guys as well, some of these people as well. The majority would like to be as successful, as close as they can be with you, but they have other businesses. Can they become successful traders, or does that, depend on a different set of behavioral traits?
I think it depends on your personality. If you are willing to hold yourself accountable for the losses that you are making, then you would be successful. Because then you will not repeat the same mistake. If you repeat, that will not be a mistake, that would be part of your trading plan. And then you can go back and redraw your
back to the
plan.
importance of the trading plan that you mentioned before. What do you think, Rob, then? Can we be successful as many people?
I think there's a lot of personality. So what we're really talking about now is trading psychology, because I see a lot of traders that come into trading because of the thrill of trading. You're going to come in and be a trader and trade all day long. It's the greatest world casino, and that's how some people, they treat this. The excitement, the thrill of the next trade, because once you put a buy order or a sell order in, now it's like, I might get rich, I might make money, big bucks. Oh, that one didn't work, and people are like, okay, I'm going to put some more money into the machine, and you pull the slot machine again in the casino, and they treat it like a gambling, and the gambling is not trading. Okay, I'm not a gambler, and I don't think Tarik is a gambler, and you don't sound like a gambler to me. We're not gamblers. I do not honestly know of any traders that treat trading as a casino, as gambling. I don't know personally of any ones that are successful. The ones that treat it as a business and take it very seriously have the opportunity. The accountability is, I see people, they have a losing trade. Oh, it's my broker's fault. Yeah. Oh, it's the computer's fault. Oh, the technology.
But this is the main problem, maybe. People try to get rich quickly.
Yes.
Instead of facing that as a marathon, like as a business, like everyone else or anything else, right?
That's why your trading plan isn't just a trading plan, it's really a business plan. And it's kind of your roadmap that you're trying to drive towards success. That's why, when people don't have a business plan, at least in the United States, I don't know about here, but the banks, when you go to the bank and ask for a loan for a business, they're like, show me your business plan. Show it to me before I give you money. I want to see if it makes sense to make it safe for me to give you this money. Trading should be the same way, in my opinion. Okay?
Tarik, I think obviously you've been from the market making side, you've been a professional who has traded at the banks and hedge funds like your colleagues here. So yes, can we be successful? I mean, all this is fine. But then again, we are all human beings after all. We will commit the same mistakes over and over. How do we get over that?
But when you start trading, it's normal to make mistakes at the beginning. But the difference of a successful trader and people who lose money is that successful trader will change the bad things, and they will stop to make the bad things. And someone who will lose money, they will continue the same mistakes during all his life, and he will lose money during all his life. This is something I saw many times when people lose money. He continue to make the same mistake year after year. So the trading is not, like you said, Rob, is not a gambling. It's a business. And when you made a mistake, you should take your responsibility and say, I will not make this mistake again. So it's not a problem of the time you how much time you have to trade. If you are only 1 hour, 2 hours to spend to trading, you must be focused on this 1 hour, 2 hours, like people who are not involved at 100% on trading. You can make money. For example, when we made live trading with Rob and with other traders, international traders, we trade 1 hour, 2 hours, and we make money during this 1 hour, 2 hours. So it's not, I don't have a full-time trading, so I cannot be a successful trader. No, if I can trade only 1 hour, 2 hours, I have my trading plan for trading only for this 1 hour, 2 hours. I respect my plan, I respect my rules, and I will make money.
This is yes, go ahead.
Well, I really want to add to that, because another important, we're talking about the traits that I see make traders more successful. I actually, many of you here that have full-time jobs, especially living here in Europe, this is wonderful. Like, when I first met my wife, at the time my girlfriend, I would trade the European session, and I even had my computer by my bed. But then my girlfriend said, no more of that. So, so now, and with a family, now I sleep in the European session. But you have such a wonderful opportunity here. You can have a full-time job here in Spain. You can have a full-time job and still come back and trade the U.S. session. This is wonderful, because one of the mistakes that I see people make, they have a full-time job, they come home, they see a chart, and they say, oh, if I didn't have a job, I would have made $1 million on this trade today. You know, they fantasize about these trades that they would make if they didn't have a job, so they quit their job. Now, the problem is, now they have no income. So if they make a losing trade, Tarik or I say, we lose trade, okay, next trade. But if you have no income coming in and your mindset is poor, there's way too much pressure. Now you say, oh, I've got to trade. I've got to make that money because I've got to pay bills. So I got to trade. So a loss becomes very psychologically damaging. So what I'm saying to all of you today is I would encourage you not to look at your job as a bad thing. I actually see some of my most successful traders have either a full-time or a part-time, because for some of them, just having a little bit of money coming in psychologically makes them feel better. So if they take a 10-tick loss, who cares? I'll make it up. I got a job. And so this allows you to take the time to get a trading plan, make some mistakes. As Tarik said, you will make mistakes. We all make mistakes. I still make mistakes occasionally. I'm sure you do. We're human. We're human. But you can minimize those mistakes. But the best way to start, in my honest opinion, is have a full-time job or a part-time job at least, and start to learn to trade. So it's psychologically, this is one of the biggest things of success I've seen for people that are
minimizing the mistakes, you said, Rob. It takes me back again to the competition. You had a wonderful time. Obviously, we did first and foremost have a wonderful time, because what we do is, we love doing it. Yesterday, it was a competition between Tarik and you, Rob, and Davide Biocchi, an Italian trader. And exactly, there was the pressure of the time, the pressure of performing. Yep. You were all, battling head to head. In that one, Tarik won. Rob, you have done it 25 times, elsewhere. But that pressure there, you, Rob, as well, you, Tarik, you were losing at the beginning, and then you made all that back, and then, won that performance. How did you do that? How come did you, get back from a losses? What sort of psychology is there?
When I start a trading day, I know that if I made 10 trade or 20 trade, I will have 4 trade or 5 trade will lose. So for me, it's not a problem to have a losing trade, and I will cut this trade. And during the competition, I made a short on the S&P, and I cut this losing position. And 1 hour, 2 hours, the market crashed yesterday. But I take my loss, and after I made 4 another trade and winning trade, and at the end I'm positive. So for me, a journey of trading is like a tennisman. He win one set, one game, and he win one set, and at the end he wins the match. So it's a global trading. It's not. I don't want to have a losing trade, because on trading you must manage your losing trade. So for me, it's not a problem to have a losing trade, and I don't care to get a loss, because for me it's nothing.
You said something very important. 1 second, Rob, because also Naeem has said it, like, you said you were short in that small time frame, you closed your position with losses, and then the market fell, but it only fell after 3 hours. So,
it is a
time frame is important. Your type of trader is important, as you all said. Is this then, at the end of the day, one of the most important that we tend to neglect, I guess? Do you think that it is the most important thing before starting to, pressing the green or the red button?
No, but for the retail trader, before they start trading in real, they must trade on simulator, and they must try to enter in the market, close the position, and when they make money on simulator, after they put it on a real money. So. It's not a problem to try to. They will make mistake, but it's better to make a mistake with on simulator, and after they put real money.
Better be safe than sorry. Naeem, I think it's a very hot topic. Do you agree that people should trade on demo because they lack the psychological aspect of it? I mean, they're not afraid of losing money.
For the technical part of the trading, I agree that the technical part of the trading is important, and the other things is the psychological part. But you must have a strategy which is working. You must know how is your typical profile of trader. You are a contrarian, you are a follow trader, you like trading the bond market, the equity market. So this is the technical part. And after you move to the real money, and after you see if you are someone who can accept the risk, the stress, and the psychological part. But this is two things you must work to be successful.
I think I'm going to say something very short, but I want you guys to pay attention to what I'm going to say. I was coming from, and flying out from the US and getting into the UK, and I read a quote, and this is on the, like what you're saying about simulators. Education is the best investment that you will ever make in your life. I want you to guys think about it. Education is the best investment that you will ever make in your life. Spend as much time as you want to learn, to master that skill before you put it in practice. As a hedge fund trader or as an equity trader, I was not allowed to trade for a number of months until I've proven myself.
That's very important. Now, as we're approaching the end, and then we should leave some time for your questions. Yes?
3 minutes.
Yes, thank you. Just a last question. And, following the UK elections and, as you say, the hung parliament, we are to expect repercussions, maybe a hard or soft Brexit. Do you guys think that, this will be, a high volatile environment ahead, or is it something that has been already discounted? Maybe, Rob, you can answer first.
Well, I think there will be more volatility ahead, certainly. With the elections as they were now, with Miss May, we have to see how the European or the British government sorts this out. Are they going to be locked, and what is this going to mean for Brexit? So I think there'll be some volatility, but for the most part, we've now known about Brexit for a year. Yes. So I think that a lot of that's. I think we're going to need something a little bit more new to create new volatility.
Naeem, what do you think?
I would completely agree. I think there are a number of events which are even bigger than Brexit. The geopolitics, how the world is shaping. For instance, what's happening in Middle East, what's happening in Asia and Europe and America with the tax plans and everything. You can trade currencies, commodities, fixed income, equities. There is going to be enormous amount of volatility regardless of how the UK would do. Because UK Brexit or UK election going to have more impact on the UK economy. This is what I said yesterday. it's a domestic thing with a little spillover impact. The bigger things are going to come from the US side, where what Mr. Trump is going to do next, or what would happen in the Middle East that would impact the price of oil. It would have an impact on equities, on Forex, and on your fixed income.
Tarik, you like volatility. Obviously, you expect that to be that much in the future?
The last 2 years, the market tests several times some stress tests with some event, and the market now is very strong because we have many events that could crash the market, and the market for the moment is not ready to be very volatile. The volatility is at the lowest level for a while. So for the moment, there are no events who can make the market move to a huge volatility. So we see that the market continues to make a new high when there are bad news. So for the moment, the market is not ready to be like in 2000 or 2012 with the European crisis. So I don't think the market will be like the several crises. So maybe the next year, but for the moment, the market is very strong.
Excellent. Well, before I thank you all three, because I think time is up, if you actually have few questions for these gentlemen, they all operate their own businesses. They do, seminars. Tarik, I think you're also starting something in Spain with Crescendo. Rob also the same, and Naim is popular with TV. You can use the magazine as well to send email to us, and then we convey any questions. Thank you very much, gentlemen. I wish you all the success, and obviously to everyone. Thank you very much for attending.